Good evening. How are you? I'm double checking. I'm starting off the Rumble stream as well. I just want to make sure it comes on. I hope I did it right. I don't know. Nothing's coming up so far. I'm running a little late. Let's see if I hit the refresh button. Well, now it says service unavailable. Screwed that up. Weird. Well, isn't this a... I mean, like, I've got nothing on Rumble right now. Well, that's disappointing. I had such good success over there. The first night that I was on Rumble, I'm doing it one more time. I think I know what happened. I think you would, I think if you, how do I put this? I think if you know what's going on in the world right now, you know why it's not working out. That's hilarious. I'm not going to talk about what's going on because I don't really feel like I've got too political of a show. Let me check. I got to do stuff a certain way tonight. I'm very excited. Lots going on. I took one day off. I just couldn't handle streaming last night. We'll go over that, but I'm very excited about tonight. And I'm very happy that you're with me. I've got some things coming up again. I'm always trying to do new things. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to soar. I don't even know. My arms hurt. Anyway, we got a good show. We're gonna fix this microphone situation. I'm almost certain. I've got stuff in the works. Okay, I will. The things I can fix, I will fix. It may take me forever, but I will get it done. For those of you who don't know me, I better introduce myself. My name is John Schenk. I'm the founder and managing broker of Deerwood Realty in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small residential real estate firm. It's just me. We focus mainly on helping buyers buy homes and sellers selling theirs. At night, I do the Deerwood Realty live stream, usually around 9 o'clock. I'm running late tonight. I was searching for things on Amazon to upgrade the stream, and time got away from me. So yeah, that's what I normally do about 9. We're almost at 9:30 right now. I'm sorry about that, but Deerwood Realty live stream is about, me. To be quite honest, you couldn't have the Deerwood Realty live stream without me because I'm Deerwood Realty. So I mentioned we have a good show tonight. I wanted you to know I feel kind of alive tonight, which is, good. Normally it's like I'll be honest, sometimes it's a slog. You catch me an hour and 25 minutes into the stream and I'm talking about some sort of some sort of article that's just iffy. Not very exciting, kind of roll through it and get done. I don't think that's going to happen tonight, but if it does, I apologize. I apologize. I'm going to check this one more time to see if I can get my Rumble going. How disappointing. I know I'm okay. All right. Well, do I have to hit play? Oh, shoot. I didn't hit play. I have to hit play, and it would have worked perfectly. I don't like, the only thing is you can see, I have it for the chat. Everything, oh gosh, my mouse went. Everything I have is set up for the chat, but I don't get a lot of people in my chat. Now, apparently, I've lost my, I'm going to check on this. I had a stream bot that doesn't seem to be on there tonight. I apologize. And there's a couple things I don't know. First of all, I don't know if the Rumble followers come up, if they pull them off the YouTube, or I don't know a whole lot of stuff that's going on. So, oh, look, I got a little bit of a... I know you don't normally see me broadcasting in T-shirts, but it was a T-shirt kind of day today. I was literally picking myself up after a rough go about things, and yeah. So here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about my weekend because that's why I didn't feel like streaming last night. We're going to talk about I have a garden segment tonight, or a lawn segment, which we'll get into that. We're going to talk about agent recruitment. We're going to talk about some stuff I saw on Twitter. Lots of stuff. I want to check one more thing because I feel bad. Oh, I was offended. I've been offended. We're going to jump into stuff like that I don't understand even. One of those is about Web 3. I don't understand that. I don't know what that means, but we're going to read it. If it's anything like the buzzwords like AI or graphene coding for cars, okay, then it's just a buzzword. It doesn't mean anything. But if it is actually something, I guess somebody will tell me, some sort of expert. All right. So the first thing I want to do tonight is I want you to see, I'm going to do it this way. Actually, I'm going to do it this way so you can really see it. Maybe even this way. I better do it this way. I better talk a little more before I go to it. Okay. So I don't know if I give myself away on my streams. I don't know if I tell you a lot about who I am and what I think and all this kind of stuff. I think I do, but maybe I'm wrong. But what I would say is this. I like yards, like nice green yards, like my front yard. I've watched all the YouTube videos. I've tried to get a great yard, and I've failed. I've lived in this house since 2007, I think, but I don't know my dates very well. It's been a long time. Maybe it's 2011. I don't know. Anyway, I've worked on my yard for every year every year I've been here. And I live in a place where it's a very tough way to grow grass. We live in St. Louis. It's a cold season grass or warm season grass you can use. But if you go cold season grass, then you're out there cutting grass in like right now and maybe a month earlier. That's no good. That's no good. So I don't do that. So I've got the zoysia, and it doesn't come in until like June. It needs really hot weather, and even then it's dead by like August, end of August, September. So it's nice because in the winter you don't have to cut the grass or anything like that. It just goes dormant. Some people don't like the yellow look to it. I don't care, but it's hard to grow. Like you'd think it's not. They say you should just use plugs and it'll grow and everything will be great. I've not had a lot of success. It might be because I haven't had, I don't know. I haven't gotten rid of the cold season grass that's in it. I want to go with that. I don't know. Anyway, so I've been doing this thing with my soil. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's this testing kit. Like, because I've decided that the fertilizer was the problem. Like, maybe I didn't have the right soil for my zoysia to grow. And so I've been constantly looking at, how can I improve this system? How can I get it better? And so for the last 3 years, I've tried this MySoil. Now, people online will say, you don't need to use MySoil. You can go to, like, your local ag college or something, and they will give you your soils. I don't care. I don't know where my local ag, I don't want to deal with it. All I do is I pay money on Amazon or I go to their site. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. I go, because really, who's sponsoring? I got 156 subscribers on YouTube now. Like, Although I appreciate every one of you. Anyway, you go and you get the subscription on Amazon. They give you the little box. You take the box, you put the dirt in it, and you send it back. And then they tell you what's in the dirt. Now, that's what we're going to find out tonight. Do I know what's in the dirt? Now, look, here's the issue with me, okay? I have forever wanted to get a perfect score on anything. And I know I'm not going to get a perfect score because I already saw the, it gave me recommendations. It's like, what I want is for it to say someday, you know, look, you've done such a great job that you don't even need any recommendations from us. You're the master. Okay. It's never going to happen, but man, would that be sweet. So we're going to look at that. And, it could hurt my feelings enough where I might not continue to stream afterwards. If it's worse, what if it's worse than last year? I mean, that's a problem. And I don't know. I mean, this is the beauty of live streaming. I have no idea what my test is going to show. It's not like the Jerry Springer, like, you know, hey, this is your kid. I get that. But, you know, let's just get into it, okay? Now I got to hit the right buttons and stuff. And I've made it extra large. I'm going to put me way down at the bottom so that you can see this situation. Okay, here it is. Okay, I'm sharing it now. Okay, now I'm just going back to make sure you can see it. Okay, you can see me. I'm in the corner. I'm in the lower corner. This is the dashboard. This for the last 3 years. Now look, my goal in life. You ever hear that 1% crap? Like, you need to improve yourself like 1% a day, and you'll be so great you'll be 365% better at the end of the year. But like, that doesn't take into account that a lot of days you fail miserably, like totally awful. So I've never really been. Now look, we can compare selected samples. I don't know if I'm ready for that. It says actions recommended. Like you can see right here. I don't know. I think you can see you can see the mouse. So look, it says actions recommended. So I didn't have success there, but let's look. Okay. We're just going to look at the first one first. Okay. Here we go. I'm just going to go here. I hope it lets me. I don't know if I have to. I'll just go to the sample results. Here we go. Okay. All right. Here we are. Oh my God. How can I be out of sulfur again? That's ridiculous. You know how much sulfur I put on my yard? And to be low in sulfur? Oh, this is a disappointment. Now I'm angry. And I'm low on boron. I got my pH where it's supposed to be. Oh, it needs, I'm going to put nitrogen. I'm not worried about that. I haven't put the first one down. It says phosphorus is almost too much. I wanted to get the pH right this year. I got it right. I got it right where I need to. But, I mean, just to be low on these is just terrible. Now, this sulfur, I don't understand what happened. But I've got calcium is good. Magnesium is fine. Sodium is fine. Zinc is fine. Manganese is fine. I don't know. Did I do it wrong? Sodium is fine. Copper is okay. Boron is low. So, like, from what I'm going to do, like this should solve itself on the first fertilizer of the year. I'm not really worried about that. I missed one fertilization at the end of the year, but my pH is optimal now. That makes me very, very happy. I'm shocked at the sulfur. Let's go back now, and we're going to look at from last year in the improvement or not improvement. Okay, so let me see this. This is 2022 is in the dark blue, and 2023 is in the light blue. So our nitrogen is, I don't know if it'll tell us if I click it. No. All right, fine. Be that way. So our nitrogen is lower this year, so that's bad. Our phosphorus is about the same. Our K, it's low. but it's better than last year. The sulfur, you can see how much sulfur has been used somehow. I don't understand that. I might add to that. Then we've got the calcium, that's good. Magnesium. I mean, look at how great that is. All these are doing well. This here, though, I don't understand my iron contents well. But I kind of understand it because when I switched fertilizers, and the fertilizer I had it has iron, but it goes with the NPK and it adds iron. So that's something I got to work on. You can just see though, my I think, I don't know what's Mn and Z, that's zinc, but you can see my boron has been hurt. But my pH, which was what the main thing that I wanted to solve, I solved it. I got it right where I wanted it to be. So let's go back, and because, you know, I want you to see where I was really at now. So there's three. We've got the darkest blue is 2021, a middle blue is 2022, and the lightest blue is 2023. So here's where I started, which you can see I was even lower in nitrogen then. And then you can see the phosphorus, I fixed that. And then the potassium is still better, but not good enough. Sulfur, do you see how much I made a dent in that? Calcium is good. This is a little bit too high now. It's getting out of control. This is fine. This is kind of depressing me because I was so high and now I'm so low. I don't know what to make of this. The zinc, though, look at the zinc. I got much better. But I need to do better with boron. I will add boron because I'm upset with this. And then I need to do, the pH is perfect, finally. I've always wanted a good pH. Okay. So, that's good. Now, look, I just want to see one last time. I just want to see what we're up against here. All right, so I need to do more boron, and I need to do more sulfur. But you would be shocked at how much sulfur I've already put down. Not good. All right, well, this has been a very exciting situation. I didn't think that would happen. Huh. So now I'm going to do that, and then I'll go back here. Okay, so look, there's work to be done. Okay, that's all I have for you. Is there's work to be done on my yard. Now I want to get into something. I'm gonna switch gears quite a bit, and I want to talk about YouTube for a second. And one of the more bizarre things that I've ever experienced. When you do videos and stuff, people come at you, and I'm not real comfortable with that. I mean, it's part of it, but it's just like it's hard on me. I don't know. So I did a YouTube short, and I'm going to show it to you first, okay? And then we'll talk about it afterwards. So this is going to be a YouTube short that I posted this weekend. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but there's a squirrel. Like, he was smart enough to get underneath the car wheel well during the rain. You know, I post a lot of YouTube shorts. Here's the YouTube short I posted. And it's a squirrel that was smart enough to hide under the tire in the rain. Now, I mean, could you be any more wholesome? I don't know if it's going to autoplay, but if not, let's do one more time. And see, you know he's a squirrel because he's moving around. It's not like he's dead or anything. And I mean, you know, have you ever seen a squirrel under a tire in a rainstorm? In a thunderstorm? I've not. So I figured it was pretty good. You can see this is my parents' house. They used to have zoysia. That's down at the bottom. See how it's getting yellow and green? I don't know. People are unhappy with I can see my views and I can see them going up and down by people. And so far, like lawn care has not been real high. And my squirrel video has also not been very high. So this is kind of depressing, but it is what it is. So look, like it's a squirrel video. Okay. A squirrel, like I got like 600 views on the squirrel video. And I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this if I'm good enough with the buttons. I think I am. But I'm going to go to the stats because how in the world, how could you dislike a squirrel video? So as you know, like on YouTube, I don't do well. Okay. That's just like, I'm kind of used to that. I had 582 views, which for me is amazing. And then I had, it's not going to tell me. It's not, okay, fine. It's not going to tell me. Anyway, 582 views. And then I had 16 likes. Okay. Which isn't that bad. I had 2 people downvote the video on Squirrel. How sad can you be as a human being, okay, when you're downvoting a video about a squirrel on a YouTube short? Like, did you hit the wrong button? Seriously, I mean, I know it's not, look, it's not the greatest short ever. But I mean, I've got other stuff that like stuff that's dry and boring and talks about real estate all the time. Never even a dislike. And someone put 2. I just don't understand. 2 downvotes. And I guess, like, you know, I always talk about my mindset and how you need to think positive and stuff. So I'd be, oh, thank goodness I got 16 likes. Okay. But then in my mind, I'm like, those 2 downvotes, that's what we should really be paying attention to. I just don't get it. It's a squirrel video. How do you not like squirrels? Like who has this? Who's like, oh my God, I hate squirrels and shame on you from showing that video. That's why I don't take, when I get comments on shorts, like one guy a while back, he wanted to debate like world economics and like I don't have time for that. I mean, it's a short. I just put it out there. I don't know. You don't want to hear that, I'm sure, but I'm confused by people putting me down for that. All right. Well, we better get into something else. So we will. I want to talk about my weekend. I want to talk about why I wasn't able to stream on Monday. I'll just go through the whole thing. So, as you know, I'm a real estate agent. So I do real estate during the week and during the day and sometimes at night. And pretty much it's all consuming. If I'm not streaming, I'm messing around with real estate. And it's not that. A lot of people are like, oh, it's the most luxurious life. And it's not. It's not at all. But I want to talk about this. Like, I don't want to kick my buyers. They're good people. So please understand, like, I'm not criticizing them. I'm just criticizing the way things went down. I think it's wrong to criticize people that have signed up to use you as an agent, and then that's just not who I am. So I won't. So I have these buyers. They're wonderful people. They're well qualified. Okay? And if you know anything about the market in St. Louis, it's absolutely ridiculous. Even people say, like, in other places of the country that home prices have gone down and it's a buyer's market. It isn't that way here. It's a seller's market all the way, even at our high interest rates. And so I was working with my buyers. I've been working with them since before the virus. Okay. So, I mean, this is many, many years. I've shown them many, many houses. Different things have happened, but you know, the important thing is, you know, we've worked through it, and we put in a few offers and didn't get it, but that was during the highs. They haven't really put any offers in recently until we saw, well, maybe a week earlier, they saw the house coming soon. I got an email. Hey, can we go see this house? I looked at the house. The house had been purchased 2 years ago for about $370,000. Okay. And it was a fix and flip at the time. It's now being listed, get this, for over $500,000. The sellers have done nothing to warrant $200,000 worth of gain, which I've argued is the price we're paying for inflation. People say, "Oh, look how great it is. This is this money, but this money is worth less." Anyway, so I'm like, this seems like a lot for this house, but okay. So we go and see the house on Friday night, and my buyers are kind of interested, and so I move forward with trying to get in touch with the agent. So I call the agent, and because houses are moving so fast, you must get in touch with the agent as soon as your buyer says they're going to put an offer. You have to make the call. So I called my agent, I called the listing agent. I said, "Hey, do you have any offers on this house?" But that was just a voicemail. And I need to know this, so I texted. I mean, I have to know this information. So I get a text back about a half hour later. I got 2 offers. This is Friday night. The showing was at like 6. It's now like 8:30. So my whole night's getting cut up. So I said, she said, I have 1 offer in hand and I'm supposed to get another. I said, so are you cutting? So what they'll do is they'll say offers are due by Sunday, but then if they get a really stupid offer, they'll take the offer. So I would be in a situation where I hadn't written an offer, and the house goes under contract. My buyers are going to be mad at me, and they're going to say that they would have gotten the house if it wasn't because of me. So once I got that information, I relayed it back to the buyers. I didn't hear anything back. This is about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. When I finished my stream for Friday night, I checked my texts, and I got a text from the buyers, and they said, "Well, can my sister come see the place?" And I said, "Absolutely. Absolutely. We can go by and see it again on Saturday." So I set an appointment. Like I said, this is around 11:30 at night. Then I get a text in the morning when I wake up. "Sorry, I don't want to go see the house. I'm not feeling well." So now I don't even know if we're writing an offer. So I said, "Okay. That's fine." So I canceled the showing and I let it go. I thought this happens. I mean, buyers get very excited about a property and then they lose interest. That's just the way it goes. And so as I started kind of planning my day, so Saturday afternoon, things got pretty good for me because I don't have to show any more houses. The weather's pretty nice here in St. Louis. Going to get outside, get some air. Pretty good deal. Sunday rolls around and there's an open house, and I've volunteered to the buyers, like, "Hey, if you want to go to the open house, I mean, I can meet you there, or if you don't want me to go at all, that's fine too." And I didn't hear anything from them until about 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Actually, about 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon. And when you start hearing from your buyer, like, they're not, like, they may like you as a person, but they're not texting you because they like you. They're texting you because they want to get something done. And so I said, or they texted me and they said, "So when are our offers due?" And I said, "Offers are due by," or they said, "Is it due by 5?" I said, "No, offers are due by 8 tonight." And they said, "Okay, well, I think we'll make an offer." Okay, so this is 3 o'clock. Now I need to get a pre-approval letter for them. They got one a long time ago, but it's expired. So now I'm calling the mortgage guy who was supposed to get me on Friday night. I already talked to the mortgage guy. I said, "I need a pre-approval for Saturday." And then he's like, "Sure, I'll have it for you." I didn't have it on Sunday. I sent him an email. I said, "Hey man, they said they're going to write. I'd really like a pre-approval letter." Pre-approval letters aren't real, but it makes people think that, like, somebody can actually buy the house. They're kind of required on most of the offers, not by law or anything, but by custom. If you live somewhere else, it might be different. So anyway, I called the mortgage guy. We texted back and forth. He called me. He's like, I'm sorry, I forgot or something. I'll get the letter for you. So like we're just eating time on Sunday, okay? And I got to have this offer in by 8, okay? Some agents are assholes. They will just automatically cut it off at 8. So I've got to get this offer in. Now from 3 o'clock on Sunday, now I'm just, I'm running comps. I'm showing them, what could go wrong on this deal. Comps come back pretty good. So the buyers, they need to do some things. I need to do some things. I get them the paperwork at like 4:30. And then they sit on the paperwork. And you may say like, John, like that's your job to sit there and wait for someone to fill out paperwork. But look, it's Sunday. It's like 3 o'clock. And if you want to write an offer, like, can we get it done like quickly so I can go about my day and get this offer in? Not to sound selfish, but it's like, so I'm sitting there and it sounds stupid. I've probably helped hundreds of people buy houses and sell houses in my career, but I get nervous, and it's a nervous type of excitement, and it's why I'm in the business. I get excited about writing offers. I get excited about accepted contracts. I get sad when contracts don't go through. I mean, it's like, this is the business that I'm in. Like it's like a drug. It really is. And so now, like, all I'm thinking about is this deal. I've talked to the agent. She's like, no, we still got 2 offers. Now we got 2 offers in hand. So I'm like, ugh. So we come up with a price to offer, get the contract to them, and now they wait. And now it's getting to be 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock rolls around. I got to get this thing in by 8. 7:21, I get the paperwork back. Right during dinner. Turn around the paperwork, get it to the agent. Now you sit and wait. Now you've got an offer in and you're sitting there waiting. And so Sunday night, I go to bed. I'm like, I was up late, but I don't remember what I was doing. Didn't see anything come in Sunday night. I had there were only 2 offers, okay? And we were over asking. So I was like, we're going to get this house. So Monday morning, I wake up, I get an email in my, around 10 o'clock. Sorry, we took another offer. There were 6 other offers. It's like, and I can't really explain, like, you might think about it from the perspective of like, I hate real estate agents, right? Like, I hate you as a real estate agent. You suck as a person. Go get a real job. I get it, okay? But I've worked with these people for 4 years, okay? I don't have a problem with them because if there's a house that's nice and they write an offer, they wrote an offer over asking, okay? So I'm not upset with them in any way. But my heart hurts for them. I mean, it's not like they were lowballing the people, okay? And it's just like we went through all that work. So Friday I was away from my family. Saturday was fine, no complaints. Sunday from 3 o'clock on, I was away from my family until like 8, and then I mentally wasn't around. And then Monday, just depressed, just down. And you say, well, why do we care how you feel? Like, what about your buyers? They're probably crushed. They are. And it happens every time. And during the summer when I was helping buyers and there'd be 30 and 35 offers, 5 or 10 of them said, you know what? I'm not doing this. They literally couldn't handle it. Like, we're out. We're not dealing with this. So last night, I'm not good at analyzing my feelings. Last night, I was just depressed. I was just down. I was down. I was disappointed for them. I'm not so disappointed for myself. Look, when the market goes down or when it goes up or whatever, I don't spend a lot of money. I don't go crazy with my expenses, and I just try to stay within my means. I have enough money to keep the doors open for 2-3 years without a deal right now. I'm good. But it just clawed at me. So today, look, we've had a good run. We've had the squirrels. We've had the soil tests. I'm down on sulfur and boron. That's disappointing. I didn't see that coming. And now you know what happened to me on my weekend, which destroyed that. So let's get into some of the show, eh? The most important thing, right? Let's see if, you know what? I don't know. I gotta work on the screens. I don't have them set up right. Let me go here. We'll go back to this, but I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, so the most important thing is interest rates. We dropped 7 basis points from yesterday. We're at 6.37%. Would like to be at 5.5%. Always say that. I would have been good with 5.5% and don't go down to in the 2s to cause all kinds of craziness. But no one listens to me, and that's okay. So anyway, what is my posture going into the market here in St. Louis if I'm a buyer? Okay, so if I'm a buyer right now, if you're asking me what we should do, well, obviously we want to see how many offers there are on the property, and we want to go over asking. I don't take out my contingencies. I don't mind getting beat out if someone is foolish enough to do no inspections, no appraisals, no finance contingency. I'm not there in this market. I don't think it's that strong. But I will go, and I would say that right now in St. Louis, I would be over asking. Especially if there was multiple offers. I understand why you'd be under in that situation. If you're a seller and you're putting your house on the market this week, next week, I think you're in good shape. I would not price it way out of the realm of possibility, but I'd still stay on the high side in St. Louis. I have no doubt. Now, this isn't Austin, Texas. This isn't Phoenix. This isn't Florida. This isn't places where people are either moving to or moving out of or want to be in. This is in St. Louis. Just something to consider. Let's get into some tweets. This is from the broke agent. It says, you can tell when the other agent sucks at their job within seconds of talking to them. I'd say here's what I didn't like for this deal I was working on. I could never talk to the person on the phone. And I come from a background where, you negotiate everything on the phone. You're not trying to get after the other agent. You're just trying to get information that can benefit your buyers and your sellers. So, hey, I'm so-and-so from Deerwood Realty. I'm John, and you kind of look at their license number and see when they were, if they're from my time, you have a pretty good chance of it being, you have a pretty good chance of them being a decent person because they've managed to be in the business now for 15 years and survive in a pretty tough business. If it's somebody with their license from last year, a lot of times people bring their own style as an agent, and if they don't do any deals, it can just be annoying. But I think it's a disservice if you're an agent, everyone as an agent believes the job is to get the listing, okay, or get the buyer. Nobody thinks about it in terms of, hey, you should probably work with the other side to get a deal done. People don't do it that way. It's not a criticism. It's just an understanding. But I think that most people, if they looked and saw what their agents did on the back end, like, could you imagine, for instance, I had a listing this summer. I had some buyers call off the sign and they said, can we see the house? I said, well, do you have a pre-approval, or do you have any way of being able to pay for this house? And one had. I said, yeah. So I said, okay, well, I'll meet you to see the house. Now you may be saying, well, John, it's easy for you to go to a house where there's an unrepresented buyer because you can do both sides of the deal. It's true. It's a very fair criticism. However, can you imagine telling that person, you know what, go pound sand, go get another agent to go show this house? Or not even answering the phone in the first place? Same house, I'll say this. There was an agent that she was on vacation, she's going to Florida, and she had buyers. And she's like, is there any way, like, are you having an open house? And during this time, there's no reason to have an open house. I mean, houses are literally flying off the market. We ended up having 35 offers for this house. There was no reason. And it was booked the entire time. I said, no, I don't think I'm gonna have an open house. She's like, well, that's a shame. I really want my buyers to go see it, but I'll be in Florida. And is there, and I said, you know what? I'm showing some other people the house. Why don't they come? Why don't you have them meet me and we'll walk through it together? Now, this is just who I am. I just want the house sold. Okay. As the listing agent, I don't care who buys it. I really don't care. I would like the best deal possible for my seller. A lot of agents wouldn't pick up the phone, wouldn't even talk to you. So it's just the way I do it. I don't know if it's right. It's the way I do it. I thought this was interesting. This is something that kind of has been picking in the back of my head here. It says, McDonald's is shutting down its corporate headquarters this week so it can fire staff virtually. Did you see this predicted well over a decade ago in the movie of my 2001 novel, Up in the Air? You sure did. Now, I didn't see the film, okay? And I was around. I just didn't see it. Now, look, can you imagine, like, you know why? You know why they're doing it this way. If you fire people on Zoom, they can't come to work and shoot you. This is the fact, okay? It's not a good fact, though. It says something about our way of life when jobs are so important that some of these people, if they lose their jobs, they will lose their economic ability to do anything. They may be lowered in the social world because they no longer have a job at McDonald's. They may have a stigma attached to them. And this is, like, rightly or wrongly, we always thought, like, hey, you can just get another job. But at my age and my characteristics, I don't think I'm getting another job if they fire me. If I'm a corporate guy and I'm in my 40s, maybe almost 50, which is scary because I don't feel like I can't believe that I'd even be 50. I mean, it's just like, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You're 50 years old and need a job and lost yours. I can see why people would be upset. And it's weird I don't know if my views conflict with other people's views, but I mean, I'm one of those people that say all these people write, like on this one house where I had the 35 offers. Okay. I couldn't possibly, as an agent, I like to call the listing agent and say, hey, I appreciate the offer. We went with a different one. I like to do that because I think that's the most respectful thing to do. Someone took the time to write an offer on your property. You can take the time to call them and tell them that it didn't work out. Now, I didn't do that on the 35 offers because just assuming every call took 10 minutes, I had work to do. I couldn't even do it. So I'm from this, or like with firing people, I mean, you would meet the person and fire them. Like, that's how it would go. I cannot imagine firing someone by email, text, But this is the world I live in. It's not the world that is. And the idea of, I also think, like, there's a new level of cruelty out there in the corporate world. When you sit there and, like, this started to me in the real estate space. There was this mortgage company, Better Mortgage, I think it was called, better.com. This guy, it's like he fired all these people over a Zoom meeting, and he's like, you know, by the time you're watching this, all of your emails have been cut off, and, you know, all this stuff. And then he followed up with these insulting Slack messages that he left. He's like, those people were stealing from me anyway. And it's just, I mean, the better.com, I think it was, it's just not better. And that was, what, a year ago? And by the way, if you can't make it as a mortgage company during the hottest time ever in real estate, maybe you shouldn't exist. And maybe that was also part of the easy money game. Like, we're financing things that are just horrendous operations. But anyway, the idea that you fire people over a Zoom call and you do it like ritual, you know, it's like you are not important enough. You're not important enough for your own corporation. They want you to just, you know, blood and sweat and give me everything you have. And then I'm going to fire you on a Zoom call. And not only am I going to fire you on a Zoom call, we're going to have like 100 people and we're going to fire you all. It's part of the reason why people respond in a negative way is because you treat them like they're not human. Like, can you imagine? Oh, we're just going to go and wipe out 1,000 employees. If you're reading this, you know, if you're seeing this Zoom, you're out. And it's like, well, they get good severance. Don't feel sorry for these people. No, look, unless the people wanted to leave, getting fired is not cool. You know, not a good thing, not great. At some point we were respectful enough to, you know, hey, this person got fired, not cool, you know, go easy on them. But this idea of mass firings over Zoom, it's bullshit. And I'm not saying, like, I don't want you to think like, oh, John, you're being all manly. What are you going to do? Fight people at your firing? No. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I mean, like, have some respect for people. Like, have some respect. These people gave their time to your corporation. You should return the favor by, as you're escorting them out the door, at least don't cattle call them with a Zoom meeting. Can you imagine? And this is the way it's going. It's never going back. And I've fired people in my career, and it's not been pleasant. And I always met with them. The weird ones, I will say this. I don't understand, like, if someone doesn't come to work, okay, and like they just don't come to work for like 2 weeks, I don't really know that you should call them in for a meeting just so you could fire them. That doesn't make any sense. Like, they didn't even, but I'm saying a normal person that just goes about their job. And then they say, you know, and by the way, the idea that you can close McDonald's, like the entire corporate office, okay? Like, how important is anyone over there doing business that they can close the whole place down for like a couple of days? You're telling me that the number one fast food franchise in the world, at one point in time, I'm sure there's different statistics that are going to back me up. You're telling me that this business can shut down for like 3 or 4 days, go fire people on Zoom, and then turn around and just start business like nothing happened the next day? What is this? It's confusing. I don't understand it. And so we move on. Lance Lambert, I actually responded to this tweet. Lance Lambert is, He's at Fortune magazine. He's kind of like the editor for the real estate section. Anyway, he follows me. I mean, anyway, so he gets in trouble. Like, like journalists are supposed to be impartial and all that. We kind of know they're not. But he got in trouble from this fella. It says, with each day, Lance becomes more of a mouthpiece for the NAR and National Association of Realtors and Zillow. He does no independent analysis, just gets handed a rosy chart or article, posts it with his handler's approval, of course. Now, look, I've seen what he writes. Like, I follow him on Twitter. I see what he writes daily. I don't see it that way. Okay. So like if the National Association of Realtors puts out a piece of paper that says that the market is great, and he's a reporter or a journalist and reports that the National Association of Realtors says the market's great, he's reporting the news. Now you could say, well, the National Association of Realtors is biased. Okay. They're only working for realtors' interests. They always want the market to go up. You can argue that. I think that's a fair argument. But the idea that he doesn't do his job because he's just reading or using a piece from a source, and like Zillow, like you have to understand, like Zillow and National Association of Realtors are not like buddy-buddy. They're not hand in hand. Zillow, as far as for an agent's point of view or from a broker's perspective, I hate Zillow. And I don't hate Zillow because of why you would think I hate Zillow. I have respect for Zillow coming to the marketplace with a product that allowed people to come and see, or that allowed people to see properties available for sale that they otherwise wouldn't have, or would have had to go through a broker just to get a list of properties. I think that's always been wrong. Where I fault Zillow is when they said that they were never going to be in the brokerage business. They lied completely and became brokers, and then they tried to be house flippers, and they fell flat on their face to the tune of losing $450 million in 1 quarter and had to shutter the thing. So what did they gain by becoming brokers? That all they did was piss off all the agents. And you may say, well, so what? Well, that's fine. Like I just remember these things. I'm in the business. I see what they did. I know. Now, I don't care. Like for Zillow, they bought this thing called Showing Time. Showing Time is the centralized showing that we use to schedule showings and pretty much across the United States. So they own it. So what do you think they're going to do at some point in time? I bet you'll be able to schedule a showing without an agent at some point. Now, they didn't say anything so far, but even if they do, they've already lied. They've already said they weren't going to do something and they've done it. I expect them to go wherever the money trail leads. That's how it is. And this is Ryan Lundquist. He's an appraiser in Sacramento, California. He says, and he's on Twitter a lot. So, hearing this quite a bit. Last year, bro, listings are going to skyrocket as prices drop. And then now it's bro, sellers are not listing. And that's exactly what I said would happen. Now, look, I'm not big on forecasting anything. Like, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. None of us do. If we did, we'd all play the stock market every day and we'd be millionaires. Okay? I just try to present, like, here's the articles being written. Here's why I agree with this article. Here's why I don't agree with this article. And for example, there's been no article that's come out and said, hey, mortgage interest rate should be 5.5%. This is what I think. But I also didn't think they should be 2%. And I don't think they should be 8% or worse. So, listings are going to skyrocket as prices drop. In St. Louis, they haven't dropped yet. Okay. And there's always been this problem with the narrative. Look, you've got, I believe over half the population has bought a house in the past like 2 to 3 years, or maybe the top 5. Okay. And at least in the last 3 years, well, like just do the 5 years. You've got half of those people that have got mortgage rates that are between 2 and 3%. And then you've had a tremendous run up in housing of at least 40% in the price of a home. Okay. None of those people are going to want to buy another house with mortgage rates at 6.5% or 7%. Okay. and they're not even going to be able to find a house that's even close to what they're currently in for the same amount of money. So even if they sold their house, great, I sold my house and I got all this appreciation out of it. When they turn around and go buy, they're not able to buy something that's even comparable to what they just left for the same price. It's a problem. It's a problem. So I could see why people thought that. Now, as far as sellers not listing, and that's exactly what I said would happen, I don't know. I didn't think they were going to, why would you list? It doesn't make any sense to me. This is Darth Powell. It says, it's a little meme. It's fun. Admit, this is in response to this. Surprisingly, a bearish article from Realtor.com, they finally seem to recognize the double-edged sword for the housing market between high rates and a hard landing of the economy, none of which is good for today's inflated home prices. I'm not going to read that article today. I'll read it tomorrow. But Realtor.com is owned by Move.com. Move.com is owned by Fox Media. So they bought it. I don't remember who used to own it. But we just, the realtors get a cut. And we get to say what goes on the site. But we don't own the site, which is so stupid. But it is what it is. So in the meme, it's admit housing is 2 times overpriced or lose 700,000 real estate agents paying dues. Now, I do pay real estate dues. I don't think they're too bad. I don't know. I dropped down in viewers with this meme. I don't know. My own thing. I don't mind having an organization like the Realtors. I don't mind being a part of it. Doesn't affect me. If they went away tomorrow, I wouldn't be upset either. I don't care. This is an interesting one. Housing Disrespecter says, get in the box. It says, if we're serious about solving the housing crisis, we'll have to adopt solutions that are currently illegal in many cities. Building SROs and studios could help allow people who don't need much space to save on the higher cost that comes with larger spaces. This can be done well. And this is about, I think this is about 250. You can see what people are doing. This is from, this is from Amy Nixon. It says, everyone who proposes that someone can be happy living in 250 square feet should voluntarily demonstrate proof of concept by living in 250 square feet for a year and reporting back to us. And this is, why do we settle for such small thinking? Why do we have to live in small spaces? Why can't we figure out a way? You say, well, there's a lot of people. I don't care. I don't think I was born to where we should always accept and enjoy less as we go on through life. I don't accept that. I don't want to be a part of that. Let me know what you think. You could put it in the chat. Wouldn't hurt my feelings. Just because you've come up with a solution, oh, there's too much population. Oh, houses are too expensive. Oh, I get it. We'll just make smaller houses. That's not really a solution. That didn't really solve anybody's problem. It's annoying. Last tweet of the night, John Wake. This is an interesting thing. I don't know if you've heard about it, but there are people that really hate Airbnb. There's a word for it called STRs. Those are short-term rentals. And honestly, they have a point. Okay? If you're in a single-family residential area, okay, and you want single-family residential area, if you want those people to stay there, it's probably a good idea not to have a bunch of investors come in and buy all the houses and make it into like a rental area, because the people that bought the neighborhood, into the neighborhood for the, the fact that it was a single family residential, now aren't going to be real thrilled. Plus, if you look at the valuations, okay, you can afford to charge way more. Yeah, I mean, you can afford to pay way more if you look at it as an investment versus as a just a single family home. And so the dollars and cents don't work for regular people. It goes to corporations. It says, updating the development code to clarify that short-term rentals are commercial use that doesn't belong and should no longer be allowed in residential areas. In 2021, nearly half of all home purchases in Dallas County went to investors. That's my take too. It says short-term rentals are commercial use. Local governments should regulate them in the same way they regulate other commercial uses in residential areas. Some local governments are strict about commercial use in residential areas. Some lenient. Let the locals decide. Now, look, like any way you can get yourself out of poverty, out of the middle class. If you think buying a bunch of short-term rentals in a residential area is your way to freedom, I'm not really there to kick you. Okay. When I used to work as a property manager, I started a company at one point in time where we bought all kinds of single family homes for rent, but those were not short-term rentals. Those were for 1-year leases to comply with the laws we have in the state of Missouri. I personally, if my neighbor next door sold his house to like a massive firm, which is possible because I would get letters from Blackstone this summer, like, hey, we'll buy your house. Like they would buy the house for asking the first day I had it on the market. I mean, that was no problem. And so, but now I've got to deal with short-term renters next door for the rest of my life. And I didn't choose that. Like I moved into a neighborhood thinking I was going to be in a neighborhood. Now look, you can make the argument like your neighbor might be an asshole anyway. You may be better off with a short-term rental next to you. I mean, it could happen. But there does need to be something about this valuation model, because you just, like, it always makes more sense. If you can figure 85% occupancy on a short-term rental, it's always going to beat the numbers for a regular family buying a home, a single-family home. So it's kind of a problem. So that's it with Twitter tonight. This is from Coldwell Banker. I think they're part of Anywhere, the big conglomerate. I wanted you to see this article. It says, good luck recruiting. Fewer real estate agents say they're willing to change brands. Now, I just want to say, as an agent myself, I used to recruit people to a brokerage. And at first, when I was first doing it, my boss was like, you're going to be fine. People want to feel wanted. They have an innate wanting to feel like they want to be a part of something, and they want someone to acknowledge that. And so when you call them and say, hey, let's go out to lunch and talk about your opportunities, which I didn't do because that would have been weird. Like, I would normally talk about something. We'd say like, let's talk about this deal here or something. And I would get agents and we would sit down and they'd be very good agents. And we'd say like, look, here's our splits. We really think you do a good job. Is there anything that's in your business that causes you problems? And I'll never forget. We had one lady that did really, really, really well at a different office. Her numbers were great. And I said, and she said, you know what? If you had somebody in your office that could do the paperwork, I'll get stuff signed and everything. But when I have a deal and we've agreed to it, and now you want me to go and go because I didn't get an initial on page 4 at the bottom, it makes me look unprofessional, and it's a pain. It's a pain. I'm running around for this when I could be selling 4 other houses. And this was a good agent. And so all I would say is, it's not like agents will move around, especially if there's like the next best thing. So if you want to know how Compass became the #1 brokerage in the United States, they did it because they just paid the hell out of their agents. They said, You're going to be a part of this organization. You're gonna own it. Here's like stock. Here's all kinds of, and you'd be surprised how many agents would take you up on that. The problem with Compass is for me has always been, look, you're giving all this stuff away because you're not profitable. Like you're not even close to profitable. You keep burning through cash, and every earnings call you tell people that you're going to cut the commission to the agents. Well, if you're an agent, are you not noticing that they're planning on doing this to you? And then where will you go? eXp Realty, because they're growing. But I'm in a unique position because I have my own brokerage and I can't go anywhere. I'm not shutting down my brokerage to go work for someone else. Doesn't make any sense. But I do understand, like when you're an agent and you're working in an office, okay, and someone who's like, so I'm 100% commission. Let's leave Redfin out of it because I don't understand. I don't understand that model. But I'm an agent, okay, and all of my income that I use to pay my bills comes from my commission, okay? And I turn in a file, and some lady's sitting there, some man's sitting there, who gets paid a little bit more than minimum wage to sit at the desk, but he gets his check every 2 weeks. Says, oh, by the way, you missed a paragraph. I'm not going to be able to pay you today. You see how often that happens, and you'd be shocked. The idea that little pencil pusher at like $14 an hour just kept you from getting your check for the week. Not a good. It's easy. I know exactly why agents leave offices. Anyway, let's get through this. It says Coldwell Banker Real Estate in Anywhere brand. That's what I was saying. Anywhere they've got Century 21, Better Homes and Gardens, Coldwell Banker. It's the second largest by transactions to Compass. Has announced the results from its annual agent priority report, which found that the majority of agents surveyed said they are staying where they are, which doesn't make any sense, potentially creating a new recruiting challenge for brokerages. Conducted by Quester Research, who I've never heard of. The report surveyed the Coldwell Banker affiliated and non-affiliated agents, that doesn't make any sense either, to gauge how they are feeling about today's real estate market, their priorities, and their views on the industry's leading real estate brands. It's kind of interesting. Why would you ask how agents are feeling about today's real estate market? What does that have to do? I mean, it's not got anything to do with the point of the article. Anyway, it says fewer agents say they are willing to change affiliation. Agents are sticking to their brand, with survey results showing that across brands, a significant number of respondents are less willing to change brand affiliation. In fact, compared to a 51% in 2019, 75% of agents surveyed in 2023 say they will not change affiliations in the next 2 years. That's a stupid statistic because we never know what's going to happen even next year. I mean, really. And then it says agents want top-of-the-line resources and experience. This has always been a joke for me. Like, I'll just do it this way. So you want a brokerage that's got technology. Okay, well, here's your email address. There's your technology. You want a brokerage that's got training. Okay, well, we have meetings every Tuesday. You're welcome to show up. They just really repackage everything. It's not new. It's not new. So 95% of the respondents agreed that best-in-class service to customers is the most important brand attribute, which if you've dealt with any of the large brokerages, you don't believe that. And the power of brand image marketing to bolster an agent's business, more tech and tools to enhance an agent's overall experience and value proposition, and more leads are the top items agents are looking for in 2023. Leads is a big deal. But if you need the brokerage to get you leads, you've got problems. I'll be honest with you. If you are just, because what they're going to do is they're going to go and get a list from Zillow, and they're going to go, here you go. And if you don't close those leads, first of all, they're not going to keep giving them to you because they pay a fortune for them. And second of all, those leads aren't going to be very good anyway, for the most part. So that's kind of ridiculous. So when I go on a listing call, no one has ever said, well, you work for Deerwood Realty. I've never heard of them. I'm not going to list with you. Because normally somebody that's listing with me has heard of me from their friends. Like they already know who I am. So the idea that they're going to be worried about, like, I don't need Keller Williams behind me to do a deal. I don't need Coldwell Banker or any of the brands from anywhere.com to do a deal. I'm John Shing from Deerwood Realty. I started my brokerage. I work for my clients, and that's all I care about. I don't care about all this brand crap. I don't care about any of this. I just want to do a good deal for you, a good job for you. It's a pretty compelling argument. And it says Coldwell Banker remains the number one leading brand and agent trust. Well, who gives a damn? I mean, really, like, I don't even understand. Like, it doesn't matter. It says, when asked which trades best describe companies, Coldwell Banker reigns as the most trusted, consistent with previous year's survey results, with its reputation for integrity, best-in-class service, a suite of robust technology, and tools to navigate the current market. Yes, that's what you need, is tools to navigate the current market. Like, people actually fall for this. And an international network of talented agent and real estate professionals to learn from, Coldwell Banker continues to invest in the success of its affiliated agents and serve as a guiding light. My God. Drinking the Kool-Aid there. Oh. Here's a quote. Amid economic headwinds, it's no and by the way, on this economic headwinds, I've got plenty of, we've got plenty of houses to sell right now in St. Louis. It's not that bad. It says, it's no surprise agents are reticent to move. However, agents should remain open to the opportunities a more established brokerage can offer, including award-winning and powerful branding. That is not only recognizable worldwide, but is also customizable to appeal to their market area. Like, you try to customize a Coldwell Banker sign and see how far that gets you. International and domestic networking opportunities. And resources to grow their business, like the Coldwell Banker Listing Concierge Program, which provides white glove branded marketing for listings. Like, you can't, like, you're an agent and you literally can't market your listings. You need their help. A strong brokerage can help agents weather any storm. Yeah. That's not good. It's not good. Oh my gosh. I wanted to go through this article because I don't understand it. Okay. And there's new things that happen in real estate all the time. And I thought if we went through it together, you could help me. It says home searches make the first foray into the Web3 era with the launch of Nestfully. Okay. So this, I would guess, is a competitor to Zillow on some sort of Web3 platform. It says a new home search site launched last week that aims to bring the process of finding a home to consumers without the for-profit model that has accompanied the most real estate search sites since they first disrupted the industry nearly 20 years ago. Okay, well, like, who's paying for that? So this is a competitor to Realtor.com and Zillow. Zillow bought Trulia. Homes.com is owned by CoStar. Homes.com, CoStar was rumored to be buying Realtor.com, but I believe Realtor.com, I believe the National Association of Realtors came in and the asking price was too much. They said they're not interested now. It said Nestfully, a joint launch with several of the largest multiple listing services in the country, doesn't sell user information to third parties or charge real estate agents to have their name associated with a home listing that isn't theirs, so that only the listing agents of a property appear on the page for each home. I don't even know where to begin on that. If you've subscribed to Zillow, you will still be number one on your listings. You just won't be. You'll just have to pay to be on other people's listings. So whatever. It says the site's initial launch, excuse me, includes all listings from the MLS in California and the 7 states within the East Base Bright MLS footprint and RE Colorado, the largest multiple listing service in Colorado. So that's a significant number of MLSs. It says 2 MLSs from Florida are expected to onboard soon, and active discussions are underway to bring aboard many more from the country's largest markets. Huh. So it is a competitor. There's no question. It says the biggest question we've gotten this week was, okay, this is great, but how much is it going to charge me in referral fees for every lead that I get? And it says, we're not here to make money on leads. And so as an agent, you're like, whoa, how are you going to do that? Like, how are you going to stay in business? It says there's no ads on the site. We're not going to allow people to pay for placement. We're creating an open marketplace so the United States consumer can participate in that property game. Well, that's kind of weird. They can participate now. It says, as consumers become more wary of sharing any information online, including their browsing history, why would you want to? Anyway, the real estate industry has started to respond by embracing the Web3 approach to interacting with clients. Now, this is totally made up. The real estate industry doesn't say that we're going to do Web3. It says not like, look, I don't even know what Web3 is, but it's going to tell us here. It says it refers to the next evolution in the digital universe, which is often described as following a read-write-own trajectory. At first, the internet was a place that housed information with very little opportunity for interaction from users, which that doesn't make any sense either. Like, they had forums back in the day. I mean, like, right now you can comment on my Rumble video. You can comment on YouTube. You can go over to my own website, Deerwood Realty and Friends. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. And as it becomes more immersive experience, the demand from users to have more control over their online presence is expected to grow into one where they can have ownership over the data and how it's used. I mean, you own your search data for properties, and that matters. It says there's a very obvious lack of transparency to consumers, says Carter, referring to the majority of online search portals in the U.S. The properties that are being presented to them are being done so because there's monetization going on behind the scenes. Well, that's not really true. I mean, you can go on DeerwoodRealtySTL.com right now, and you're going to get listings for free. I don't even have a pop-up window or anything for you to fill out. I have a lead page. It says Nestfully anonymizes user search behavior on the site, and only when the user wants to reach out to a real estate agent will their contact information be shared. A person is not going to start getting phone calls because they saved 5 different homes, so 5 different agents are going to call that person to bug them, said Mehul Patel, Vice President, Product Management and Technology of Constellation One, which supports the technology of the site. Well, that's certainly something that has been annoying about real estate for a long time. You put your name in a search box, and all of a sudden you get like all these agents just calling you. It's pretty much taught people not to do that, what you've done. We'd like to think of ourselves as the Bumble of real estate. Now, I don't know what Bumble is, but it says it's referring to a dating site where women are the only ones allowed to make first contact. I don't understand. Nestfully plans to roll out several enhancements soon, most notably a method for home valuations that reps for the site say will be more transparent in how it arrived in a valuation for the property, in an effort to address the inaccuracies and discrimination that exists within many current automatic valuation models. Did you know that your Zillow estimate was discriminating against you? Just so you know, the house that we were looking at, with a while back on Twitter, the guy even showed it's like the house was valued at this price. It was at a public auction. Nothing changed. So say $300,000, and then they listed with a broker, and the Zillow estimate changed to $600,000 was the value, and it was the same property. They listed it for $300,000 at an auction site. And that's why they got the valuation there. So, I mean, I don't have, again, when somebody says, if I go to a listing call and someone says, hey, the estimate says it's worth this much, I'm like, well, they've never been in the house. They don't know the market. How in the world are they going to do that? Zillow came back a couple of years ago and they said, well, we're gonna look at the pictures in the house, and then we're gonna know how much it's worth. And unless, I've always taken this approach with my buyers. We go and see property. Like if we look at the pictures and, it's not, if we look at the pictures, that's like half of it. You still actually have to go see the property. And so I always talk to my buyers. We go and we find the value together, basically. I don't know. That's the way I've always done it. You can't buy a house based on the pictures. That doesn't work. Agents are too smart for that. It says another addition will be the ability to delete furniture from existing listing photos and add a user's own images so they can visualize what the room would look like. But what's fascinating there is we can already list a property with digital furniture in it. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comment section, or you can put it in the chat too. Doesn't hurt my feelings. This is the last article for tonight. It says, this is from CNBC. It says, home prices suddenly jump after several months of decline. Now, look, this is on a national level, and we're talking about 0.16%. Not enough to really, It says, unexpected strong home sales at the start of the year reversed a sharp several-month decline in home prices. Mortgage rates are behind the swing. Now, I disagree with that whole thing. One, it hasn't been a huge decline in home prices in St. Louis. In fact, they continue to go up. And then mortgage rates being behind the swing, I don't see that as being true either, because we haven't lowered rates that much. It says home prices nationally rose 0.16% in February when seasonally adjusted, according to Black Knight. That is the strongest one-month gain since May of last year. Home prices are now 2.6% below their peak last June. That's not a whole lot. It says of the 50 largest U.S. markets, 39 saw home prices rise in February. That's a quick turnaround from November, when prices were falling in 48 of 50 markets. Behind the quick change are widespread swings in mortgage rates. The average rate on the 30-year fix began rising off of a record low at the start of 2022. By June, it had gone to from around 4.4% to just over 6%. Sales slowed down and prices followed. By fall, the rate shot over 7% and home prices began cooling more quickly. If you want to say that's on a national basis, fine. But on your local, like here in St. Louis, again, this narrative is incorrect. It's 100% incorrect. There's still multiple offers on property now. It never really slowed down. It says in December and January, however, mortgage rates began pulling back and home buyers were quick to take advantage. And I disagree with that too. The majority of clients that I have had in my career have never all of a sudden just shown up because rates dropped by a percentage point. It never happened. Not one time. Not one time did somebody say, John, I'm going to stop looking for houses at 6%, but as soon as it gets to 5%, we're 100% in. It just doesn't work that way. It says closed sales of existing homes in February, which represented contracts signed in December and January, shot a remarkable 14.5% higher, according to the National Association of Realtors. But if you have a property and you want to get it off the books for the next year, you're going to sell in December. You're going to try and list it in December. That's not unusual. You'll get more listings. So you have to look at kind of how many listings there were available at this time. That's kind of why you're getting more sales. If you have a little more inventory, it says, conscious of changing mortgage rates, home buyers are taking advantage of any rate declines. I disagree. And I disagree with Lawrence Yun, the National Association of Realtors chief economist. As with all real estate, however, the price dynamics differ depending on location. Miami continues to see the largest price gains, along with more affordable markets in the Midwest like Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio, and Cleveland, which is both in Ohio. Anyway, meanwhile, prices are still falling in some of the markets which saw the greatest price inflation over the last several years. Those include Austin, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Seattle, and San Francisco. Yeah, but is San Francisco falling because of other reasons? Also, like Phoenix, that's where all the house flippers, the iBuyers were. That's where Zillow, Redfin, and Open Door, they were all working just like crazy. why don't we talk about Phoenix? Anyway, while mortgage rates were the driving factor for the price turnaround nationally, tight supply is adding to the upward pressure, especially with new spring demand from buyers. The unfortunate reality is that the scarce supply of inventory that's the source of so much market gridlock isn't getting any better, said Andy Walden, Black Knight's Vice President, Enterprise Research Strategy, in the release. Well, that's true. That is the problem, 100%. Again, if you bought your house and you're paying between 2 and 4% on your mortgage, you're not selling your house now. It's 7% rates because you can't find anything better. The number of homes available for sale fell in February for the 5th straight month to the lowest. See, the number of homes available for sale since May of last year, according to Black Knight, new listings were 27% lower than their pre-COVID pandemic levels. While some price increases, most notably in Miami, which saw the largest of the month, can be chalked up to people moving to the area, we're seeing the stronger price gains more generally in those areas with better affordability and larger inventory deficits. Well, I would say that's St. Louis. Mortgage rates began rising again in February and then fell back slightly in March due to market fears over the U.S. banking system amid several bank collapses. Again, my buyers are not sitting there saying, my buyers are like, they're getting married, they're having children, they don't like where they currently live. Like, they're motivated buyers. The reason for them buying is not due to interest rates and not due to fear over the banking system in the United States. Like, that's not what's driving their desire to purchase. And it's not home prices. They are well aware of how bad the home prices are. So anyway, demand for homes, however, appears not to have been swayed by the crisis, with real estate agents anecdotally still reporting busy opening houses. Well, I mean, okay, I agree with that. Black Knight is still predicting prices to move lower again throughout the rest of this year, but if supply continues to drop, keeping the competition strong, prices may not have to have far to fall. I mean, I've told people, I'll tell anybody that listens, look, if you need to buy a house, buy a house. Buy it for the right reasons. Like, you're going to stay there for 5 years. You're going to stay there for 10 years. If it goes down in value, you got a chance. Okay. I was in real estate during the last crisis. I mean, no one even talks about it now. Like, there was a time when you couldn't sell your house because you'd be underwater. So many people became renters. That's not the way it is anymore. Is it going to happen again? I don't know. The inventory numbers are so low. I don't know. Anyway, I think that's where I'm going to stop it tonight. Thank you all, especially on Rumble. Thank you for watching. I tried really hard to get on that platform, and I'm glad I made the move. And for everyone else, thank you for watching, and I will catch you tomorrow, probably around 9 o'clock Central Time. Come hang out.